Alrighty, P Literature, we are back, and today we're just going to talk a little bit more about this essay prompt from 2019, and we're going to talk about how to organize essays. So you may recall from earlier in the year that we have two main ways of going about organizing. The first would be organizing by technical element. If you can organize the line of reasoning as you discuss each new technical element you've identified that makes a major impact on the meaning or helps to convey the main tone or some other main characteristic like characterization, then you can organize by that. However, it's often more sophisticated to think about movement of the passage and to organize it by beginning, middle, and end. When we think about organizing it from beginning, middle, end, you can look for some shifts or you can look for revelation of information that helps to build on an original or an initial impression. And as you're working through the prompt, you can start to identify the movements that help really solidify meaning or help to identify at least some of the major characteristics of our prompt. So for this prompt, as a friendly reminder, we're going to look for complexity in the experience of the two sisters, which it gives you so nicely in the prompt's wording. Penelope and Irene are somebody who we want to discuss both of them, but we also have to look at family and society. So that's a lot to deal with in the context of your essay. All right, so in my discussion yesterday, I'm going to highlight a couple of the major things I think the prompt is asking for and organize this essay according to those topics. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about this first paragraph here. Sorry, my video camera skills are a little bit rough today. So this paragraph at the beginning kind of sets us up that these are not our typical girls and characterizes our two sisters. So my first body paragraph is going to really deal with that. So I'm just going to label this paragraph number 1, okay? And that's what I'm going to deal with. And we'll write some topic sentences in a second here. My second body paragraph is going to deal with how the family in general is close. However, it's not a part of the society to the fullest extent it can be. So I'm going to then do number 2, which really starts in this paragraph and moves into this upper part. And it really is going to highlight this father did not like, and none of them had grasped the idea. So we're going to first start talking about the two sisters in my first paragraph. My second paragraph is going to deal with their family and their relation to the society. So we've already hit this family, society, and we've talked about the two sisters, Penelope and Irene. Okay, the last part is going to be really this main purpose of the passage stuff. So paragraph number 3 is going to deal with what we've discovered at the end of this passage and what's revealed to us about the younger sister, Irene, and how she's starting to come into her own and be an independent person. So those are going to be the movements of this analysis. So as you can see, it took me a line before I could really get to this main claim. Penelope, a modest and curious yet critical woman, and her younger sister Irene, although close to their family, are figuring out who they desire to be at different times. The family does not seem to fit with the upper class society precisely, leading to Irene venturing out to discover her place in the world. So I've basically summarized the situation here. There's definitely room for some analysis when it comes to the meaning of that, but there's a hint of it with the idea of venturing out and the discovery of self. Irene has already done this at the end of the prompt, but Penelope earlier on has been discussed as finding self-improvement at lectures on secular subjects at the church. So we know that both of them have kind of dealt with the same major life event and in the process of maturity. Like many students, I started this next paragraph with the wrong sister's name. Penelope is simpler in dress, but more complex in ideas. And through the introduction of descriptive details, their differences in taste is revealed. And for the last 2 paragraphs, we really focus on the family, and then again, that moment at the end where we find out about Irene meeting a nice young man. So the family, paragraph 2, the family contrasts the rest of society much as the sisters are introduced as contrasting characters. So it transitions with that connection between the contrast idea, but also introduces that technical element of contrast. And then the third paragraph, when Irene sets off from her own opinions apart from the family's norms, it seems an encounter with a young man changes her tone. So I'm going to really hint at the shift in tone to more curiosity from her, and then also almost an assertive nature coming out when she's going to make her own decisions and not just go with what her family has always done. So I'm going to take all of these main ideas, I'm going to clean them up in grammar a little bit, and I'm going to type them up for you. And so you'll find that attached, and you will be picking one of the body paragraphs to elaborate on based on your own observations. And that's it for the videos of this week.